Araujo, Law, looks to get on the end of this. Now it's Eto. Chance to finish. Wonderful!
How's it going, everyone? Welcome to another video on the channel. I'm Gemini FIFA, and today I'm going to be giving you guys the full breakdown of how I built my squad. We'll be taking a look at every individual player and why they have been selected for the squad. If this is your first time seeing my video and you find it helpful, entertaining, do well to subscribe. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so I've opted to go for the 4-1-3-2 formation, and I really like this formation because I found that all around it makes me really balance both in attack, the midfield and the defense. So we're going to be looking at each individual player one by one, and I'll tell you why they have been selected. First off, we have Dida. Dida is a defensive goalkeeper. He has played a lot of matches for me, and to be very honest, in my opinion, this is the best goalkeeper in the entire game. And I'm not just saying this lightly. You know, the kind of saves that Dida has made for me, there are saves that I would not even expect the best of the best goalkeepers to even pull off. Generally in goal, I think defensive goalkeepers are way better than offensive goalkeepers. They just respond way better, they just have better reflexes. Like on paper, you might think the offensive goalkeepers are better, but in game, defensive goalkeepers are generally more active. They tend to pull off a lot more saves as opposed to the offensive goalkeeper. So if you want to replicate this formation, I would suggest that you get a solid defensive goalkeeper in your goal. Maybe the new Schmeichel or the old Schmeichel, or you can get Peter Cech or Oliver Kahn or Dida if possible. What you don't want to do is get offensive goalkeepers like Casillas, or I think Ter Stegen is an offensive goalkeeper. But basically, don't get offensive goalkeeper, get a defensive goalkeeper. You need him to be in his goal because that's where he shines. Alright, next up, we've opted to go with the right back of Araujo. Araujo to me is the best defensive right back in the game. I've tried other right back. I've tried Wan-Bissaka. I've tried what's his name, Pavard. I've tried a lot of other right back, even Thuram. Araujo just seems to perform. He outshines every single one of them. He has very good physicality. He has very good interception. When it comes to Jockey, that's matchup. When it comes to matchup, he's actually very, very good at that as well. Like, it's very hard to be. He intercepts once you match up well with him. You don't have anything to worry about with Araujo. So the interception is impeccable. The tackling is on another level. Even when you're not controlling him, he's just very, very aggressive and agile. Also very physical. Just watch how he guides the ball. He doesn't touch the ball. Make sure he doesn't give away a corner. And at the same time, make sure he shoots the ball. So the best thing to do is to get a very good defensive right back to hold that position down. Alright, next we've opted to go for an offensive left back in Philipp Lahm. In my opinion, he's the best offensive left back in the game, but he's not the best left back in the game. That honor goes to Costa Curta. But what Philipp Lahm offers you that Costa Curta don't is his offensive prowess. With this card, you're able to turn defense into attack really quick. And one thing you'll notice is that whenever you're attacking, even from your defense, Philipp Lahm starts to run forward along with the rest of your attackers because he wants to offer you that extra option on the wings. And that is something that your opponent would not always have somebody to take care of unless they are playing 5 back. And if they are playing 5 back, it's even better because you can opt to go for that extra pass. So basically, most of the time, your opponent's back 4 are going to be occupied with both your strikers and your attacking midfielders, but your left back, who's going to be overlapping, will be left completely unmarked, giving you the chance to go for a cross or to cut inside or do whatever it is you want to do. Aside his offensive capabilities, other things he offers as well is very good responsiveness when you're using matchup, when you're trying to jockey to try to mark the man. He is very, very responsive when it comes to that. He's just as responsive as Costa Curta. There are a lot of things that Philipp Lahm offers you both in offense as well as defense. Just because he's good at offense does not mean he's really lacking in defense either. He has good physicality and is able to cover space really, really well. So you can get a very good offensive left back, maybe Roberto Carlos, Oliveira, but whichever one you can lay your hands on, as long as he offers you good offense and defense. Okay, for our right centre back, we've opted to go with build-up centre back Virgil van Dijk, which in my opinion is the best centre back in the entire game. So what you need is a build-up centre back with high aggression, because build-up centre backs generally are very less proactive. So high aggression will make up for that. Some options you can go for is players like Saliba, Van Dijk, Baresi. These are players that are build-up centre back, but they have high aggression. Also, another thing I would like to mention about this Van Dijk, this particular Showtime Van Dijk, is that I use him for corners a lot. The amount of corners he has scored, he has played so many matches for me, and he has like over 20 something goals, 27 goals or so in total, and they all came from a corner. The amount of corners he has scored for me is alarming, which is another utility for cards like this. If you have a card that have high corner heading proficiency, then you should definitely add him to your team. Alright, for our left centre back position, we've opted to go with destroyer centre back Fabio Cannavaro. Cannavaro to me is one of the best centre backs in this game. It's not the best because Van Dijk is the best, but basically what you need is a solid destroyer centre back that has high aggression, has very good heading, and has very high physicality, because this centre back, your destroyer centre back, is going to make up for the lack in aggression from your build-up centre back. So when you are in position where he should make tackles without you even controlling him, he's going to make those tackles. When you want him to make interception without you controlling him, he's going to make those interceptions. That's why you need a destroyer centre back, and you need to pair that destroyer centre back with a very solid build-up centre back. I have opted to go with the pairing of Van Dijk and Cannavaro, and it works very, very well for me. Okay, coming to our midfield, we have just one defensive midfielder, and we have chosen to go with Anchorman Rijkaard. Anchorman Frank Rijkaard is the best defensive midfielder in the game. I don't care what anybody says. Basically, why we need an anchorman is because we need him to remain in that position. We don't want him to go forward. Other defensive midfielders would likely go forward, but we want him to cover the entire width of the pitch. We want him to drop back when one of your defenders, maybe your fullback, overlaps. We want him to be aggressive even while we are not controlling him. We want him to be able to make good interceptions. So you need to get a solid anchorman, maybe Gilberto Silva or maybe Ed Milson. Get a very solid anchorman since you are using just one defensive midfielder. And for me, I've opted to go with Rijkaard. To me, he's the best, no questions asked. Now for my AMF, for my right attacking midfielder, I'm going with box-to-box midfielder Midfield. Midfield to me is one of the best box-to-box midfielder in the game. I don't know if he's the best, but he's one of the best. The reason why we have a box-to-box midfielder is because you want him to drop back and help your defense. You want him to always run back even when you're not controlling him, to help your defense. You don't want him to just stay there, because if you get like a classic number 10, he's just going to remain in position. He's not going to come back to help your defense. Also, he's going to get into the box a lot of the time for those rebounds, for those extra passes, give you a lot of options to score a lot of goals, and he has very, very good finishing as well. So you need a solid box-to-box midfielder that can score, that can defend, and that can create chances for you as well. For my left attacking mid, we're going with prolific winger Ronaldinho. And you might be wondering, why am I using a prolific winger for an attacking mid position? Well, it's very simple, because he's going to be playing as an attacking midfielder as well as a prolific winger. Depending on what the scenario is looking like, sometimes he's going to run wide so he can give crosses, and sometimes he's going to run straight into the box so he can get the opportunity to score or to lay off a pass. You could also use a whole player in this position, but the difference between a prolific winger and a whole player is that a whole player will only be running into the box most of the time, but they are not going to make those wide diagonal runs for you. They are just going to be inside the box when you need them. But with a prolific wingers, they are going to use their discernment to go into the box sometimes, and sometimes to run wide, giving you that extra width on the pitch. Also, it's important to mention that you need somebody with good finishing as well, so that when they get the opportunity to shoot, you're not going to be scared that you're using somebody that might not be able to score for you. Lastly, players that you can use for this role, I would suggest players like Son Heung-min, Rafael Leao, Ribery. Those are very, very good prolific wingers that you can play. They will run wide when you need them to, and they are going to run into the box when you need them to as well. By the way, players with good dribbling helps as well for you to make quick and sharp turns. Moving on to our central attacking mid, we are going with deep line forward Lionel Messi. Now, the reason I'm using deep line forward because that play style would allow the player to drop back for easy passes and will allow the goal poachers to run in. So most of the time it's going to drop back for those easy 1-2s, and when your opponent is trying to track a run, you can surprise them with a beautiful shot. You need a player that can shoot very well from outside the box, very good kicking power, very good finishing. You also need a player that has good speed and acceleration, and you need a player that can get into the box when you need them to. By the way, this is the 2022 World Cup Messi that I'm using, and the reason I've opted to go with this particular version of Messi, even though there are two deep line forward Messi, this one has very high speed and acceleration, incredibly high dribbling, and decent kicking power as well. So he's able to shoot from outside the box. You don't even have to enter your opponent box, especially for people that play 5 at the back. You don't have to get into their box to score. Some good options you can use to play this position are Eric Cantona, Diego Forlan, Dennis Bergkamp, Kluivert. I don't know how to pronounce the name very well, but you need somebody that can shoot from outside the box, basically. Okay, for my strikers, I've opted to go with 2 goal poachers, and for my right centre forward, I'm going with Dennis Law. This card is an underground beast, and the reason I call him an underground beast is because not a lot of people know how good this card is. He's very good with positioning himself, very good with doing 1-2, and very good at finishing. So basically, you need a striker that has good offensive awareness, good speed, and good finishing. You don't need somebody that is going to be missing your chances whenever you get them. You don't need somebody that is not going to be making those runs when you need them to. And you don't need somebody that would not have enough speed to outpace the opponent's defender. Also, considering you're playing them in the right centre forward position, you need a left-footed striker or somebody that has very good weak foot, or at least has outside colours, just so you're not missing your chances when you get them. Some good options would be Haaland, Ronaldo, and Mbappe. Then for my left centre forward, I'm going with what is arguably the best centre forward in the entire game, Samuel Eto'o. There's a debate between him and Rummenigge who's the best, but personally I think he's the best centre forward in the entire game. The reason I've gone with Samuel Eto'o is not just because of his speed and his acceleration, but because of the conviction in his shots. The way he plays the ball is just something that goalkeepers cannot contend with. His conversion rate is insane. Whenever I get the opportunity, even in the one-on-one scenario, I always opt to play the shot from outside the box because I'm not scared that he's going to miss it. He's just so good. And basically, you need somebody that is that good. You need somebody that has a very good conviction when he shoots the ball. You need somebody that can hold the ball behind for the other goal poacher to run in. And you need someone that can also shoot from way outside the box that is going to surprise your opponent. Some good option will be Batistuta, Ronaldo, Forlan, even that old Lautaro Martinez that came out one time. That card is quite good and he shoots really well from outside the box. Romario as well. These are very, very good cards that would, you'd be able to use alongside another goal poacher. Rummenigge, David Villa, Michael Owen, Shevchenko are also very good options that you can use. You need somebody that can shoot from outside the box, basically. Alright, that is it for my starting 11. So we'll come to the bench now and I'll tell you the players I usually sub on in-game. Alright, one of my most important sub that I make is Ruud Gullit. And the reason I bring in Ruud Gullit is very, very simple. He has super sub, he's a super sub, so he's always going to give me that extra chance to equalize, to score the winner and all that. Also, he can help me see games out as well. Ruud Gullit, if you know this card, Ruud Gullit is a player that can basically do everything. He can attack, he can defend, he can play basically everywhere on the pitch. There is no place that is lacking. Okay, so my next sub is Erling Haaland, and the reason I've picked Erling Haaland is because it's just another version of Samuel Eto'o. He has super sub as well. All my sub after halftime has super sub because I want them to always have that extra opportunity to finish or to kill off a game, right? So when you're selecting players you want to keep in the bench, you need players that have super sub, or you can give them super sub, and you need players you need a striker that can basically score. A striker that has very good conviction in his shots. You can shoot from anywhere and you would not be afraid that he's going to miss. Also, getting a striker that is fast would actually be very, very important as well, because at this stage in the game, most of your opponent's defenders will be tired. So bringing in fresh leg with a striker who's very, very fast will give you that extra chance to win. And lastly, the final sub we usually make is Antoine Griezmann, and it's very simple. The reason we've gone for him here is because he's a left-footed alternative to Messi. So when Messi gets tired, Griezmann comes in. He also has super sub as well, so he's going to be scoring a lot of 9-minute goals for us. This is how we've chosen to build our squad. Here's a map of the squad builder. You can pause the video and take a screenshot. Replicate the players and or the playstyles, see if it works for you, and you can come back with feedback. If you have any questions about the formation, about the playstyle, about the players, you can drop it in the comment section below and I'll attend to it as soon as possible. Alright, that would be it for this video. If you enjoyed the video, you find it helpful, do well to leave a like, subscribe, share the video, and I'll catch you all on the next one. Peace.